There is an exponential gap between the time we last addressed something and where the problem is now. So at this point, real solutions to problems have this disruptive and impractical energy to them because they kind of need to be very substantial in order to fix the things that we've all just kind of let go for so long. It's looking like Zohran Mamdani is going to be the next mayor of New York City, and I don't really want to talk about Mamdani in this video, so whatever you feel about him, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about him personally, and if you're anything like me, and you're wearing like an owlbear t-shirt inside of a D20, then maybe you are too. But the thing that I really think we need to talk about that's living underneath all the uproar surrounding Mamdani is this long-standing narrative about progressive candidates. Now, the main thing I'd really love for people to come away with is that the reason a lot of us collectively fear progressive policy positions and come out with all kinds of reasons why they're supposedly just completely radical and insanely destructive is because, historically, the solutions have not kept pace with the problems. What are some examples of this? Wages have been stagnant and haven't kept up with inflation for 50 years, more than 50 years now. Housing costs are through the roof, which consequently a growing number of people don't have access to anymore, so no roofs, and costs are really easy to go through. The US has by far the most expensive healthcare system in the world, and the data shows us that it's not even good healthcare. It's a terrible system, and we're all fighting over how many of us should even deserve to get the absolute shittiness that is. The wealthy don't pay their taxes. Neither do corporations, which are now involved in the biggest monopolies and most extensive levels of control ever seen in human history, barring one singular example of the Dutch East India Company. Outright corruption is now just going completely unpunished. Specifically, a lot of it in the political arena. Trump just pardoned George Santos recently, for the love of Pete. White-collar criminals are more brazen and organized now, and they also happen to live in the White House. Some of them. Climate change is probably the very best example of the situation I'm talking about. And the longer we go without fixing that, the more invasive the solutions will be on everyday living. Detractors will shout out a constant refrain of the economy, and their screeching drives home to us that it's a mortal sin to stop the money machine for one split second. Jeff Bezos needs another mega yacht, you guys. It's like, think of the sad, smaller one he's had to deal with before now. It's just upsetting. The truth is, these rules aren't real, and we could do whatever we wanted at any time that we all agreed on it. And that would be really important to do right now, in fact, because meanwhile, we aren't going to have an economy anymore when society breaks down in the face of rising global temperatures. This is going to displace entire national populations of the world. It's going to destroy crop-producing regions. The more we let it go, we also won't have any more people around to fix it either. And all that's just looking far into the future. In the immediate present, for working class people and working Americans, the costs are accumulating and there is no relief in sight. Trump might think he came up with the word groceries, but the majority of us can't afford them, so why even bother arguing with him about it in the first place? Better to spend that energy on your 15th job so you can afford eggs. All the while, costs are rising. The messaging just keeps telling us to vote for the people who caused the mess in the first place. And yes, there is absolutely an information literacy problem in America, and there are a lot of reasons for that, and I've talked about them multiple times on this channel. The public needs to be much better informed, and much better about matching the policies they support with the actual political candidates who want to enact them. I'll say this until I'm blue in the face, but the vast majority of Americans support progressive policies. This is what the data tells us. Survey after survey shows that Americans want politicians to enact progressive solutions to their problems. Voters simply do not match up the policies with the right people on the ballot who support them because of the effects of modern populism. I did a whole video on the history of why that is, and you can watch it here. And those who create the problems for everyday Americans do a truly phenomenal job of messaging, of convincing us that the blame lies elsewhere. It lies with the brown people who came to the US seeking a better life, who were actively persecuted in their homeland, and even victims of real genocide. And instead of having empathy for them and understanding that we're always stronger together and with diverse viewpoints and a big cultural flambé, we allow powerful interest groups to torture those people for political theater. I don't know how to spell flambé. The wealthy echelon of society really does not want any of the status quo to change. Yes, members of both political parties share some responsibility in the reason we haven't legislated our way out of this situation. But no, both sides are not the same. One side is fairly reasonable and measured and wants to walk a tightrope between corporate interests and the well-being of regular Americans. It also holds an establishment core that's firmly, unfortunately, filled with neoliberal policies and a penchant for ostracizing the few genuinely caring members of their ranks. But those caring people do exist there. There are those on the left wing of our government who genuinely want to solve problems for people. It's difficult to push through the corporate-captured bureaucracy to do that, though. And from the time that we've had to check him out, it does seem like Mamdani might be that kind of person for New York City. Someone with reasonable, helpful solutions that would genuinely make a difference. And that's where all the immense pushback comes from all these moneyed interests, because they would have to make sacrifices in order for us to achieve that difference making. Now, if we had just kept up with solving problems as they came along while we were crawling out of the primordial political sea and just fixing shit as we went, keeping pace with social progress, then we wouldn't be here in a position where rich people kept yelling at the only politicians who want to make things better. Anyway, this is all just my 2 cents. You can vote for whoever you want, but please make sure that you're voting, and that you're voting for the people who represent the policy positions that you actually care about. Don't vote for personalities, or vote for weird, intangible characteristics that belong in the circus way more than they belong on the political stage. And if you're watching this way after the mayoral election in NYC has happened, then take this to the midterms, or the next presidential election, or the school board, or the freaking dog catcher. Just look for the helpers. Look for the people who care, and who have the policy positions that could get us to the point where we can do some fucking good about the growing problems we're facing in the world around us. I'll see you in the next one.